in an advantageous position because he can make his advantage most of the time. But if you give him a little bit of help where he's not 1-on-3, but what did they do? I had to sit. It was so hard on my eyes to watch this whole game because on one end, I'm watching Michigan State. They run constant motion.
Yes.
They're disciplined. They're extremely well taught. They flash off pick after pick after pick after pick. That they're always getting somebody free to the basket.
Sure.
And I'm not saying that Zion and RJ played much defense because they don't play a lot of great defense. They mostly just stand and watch.
Yes, Zion's tremendous to help defense because you'll come from the weak side.
And he will block it. But after I watched all that hard picking, hard cutting by Michigan State, then I have to watch at the other end. It reminded me of Belichick's playoff defense for the Patriots where they just did the mush rush, you know, like where they're just all kind of standing around at the snap. That looked like Duke's offense yesterday where they all just stood around in the lane like, well, I don't know what we're going to do while Trey Jones just dribbled out front. There's no action to it. There's no movement. There's no constant flow. There's no motion. And that's what in the end, Coach K was the defensive MVP for Michigan State yesterday because he put no pressure on Michigan State's defense.
But we had talked about this, Skip. Duke was on borrowed time. They really should have lost to UCF.
Well, you can go back.
North Carolina.
They should have lost in the ACC, right? Okay, it just kept going down to the wire, down to the wire.
Yeah.
And who kept saving them? Zion, Zion.
And they built the wall. And maybe this is by design. Well, I know it's by design. Somehow they screen, they pick so RJ Barrett can come get the ball. Teams do not have a problem with that. They're saying, we don't care. The big guy can't beat us. RJ Skip, he's 0 for 9. I mean, I don't know how many more opportunities you want to get. That's like Tom Brady. Tom Brady might go to a guy in a game, Skip. He might go to a guy drop a pass. He'll go back to him. But if you you drop 4 or 5 game-winning drives, I can assure you there won't be a game 5 winning drive that he throws you the ball. And that's what's happening with them. They're so talented, Skip. You don't have to run offense. Coach Izzo realized, I don't have a Zion. I don't have a RJ Barrett. So I'm going to have to find ways to get guys open as opposed to just using athleticism.
That is correct.
It's not as easy as one thing because Carmelo did it as a true freshman, lead a team. It doesn't happen very often. Magic Johnson was a sophomore. Anthony Davis led a team, a talented team. But more times than not, Skip, if you run up against a team that has veteran-laden players, a la Kentucky when they were undefeated, got a hold of Wisconsin. And we saw what happened.
It's true.
Duke did win it when they had the Justice Winslow situation, Skip. They had those had the freshmen. But more times than not, if you get in a close ball game, if you can keep these guys close, just don't let them go run and hide. And then it gets down to the last 4 minutes, the last 2 minutes of the ball game. You normally, if you're a veteran ball club, you can find a way to win it.
How did they burst out to that, 9-point lead? Didn't it get to 30-21?
30-21, correct.
How did they do that? Run and dunk, right?
Yep.
Just get in the open floor. Sometimes they would pull up and shoot threes. Cam Reddish made a 3, RJ made a 3, and there's a whole lot of Zion just taking it up the floor,
correct.
Right?
Yes.
Once you slow the game down and get them back into a half court, they are hapless, they are clueless. They wind up at the end of the clock with either RJ or Zion with the ball out on the wing, like, I guess I got to go now. I guess I got to try to beat these 2 guys or these 3 guys. And even Zion's 3-point shots he's just standing out there like, well, maybe I should just shoot this now because this is all the offense we got.
And 7 turnovers for RJ. 5 turnovers.
Hey, why did that happen? Why did that happen? Because you have no clue on offense. You're trying to force passes to Zion, who's covered, and you don't have great lob passers anyway, unless it's Trey, but it was often RJ, which is why he had 7, and sometimes the ball would hit Zion in the hands, and then he would get a turnover.
Right. So
he'd try to get the ball up to 3 guys, and he would lose the basketball. Okay. Is that good offense?
No.
Is that great coaching?
Those 2 guys had 12 of the 17 total turnovers.
Yeah.
That's not good. Skip, the thing is, look, when you look at Duke, yes, they're immensely talented. And, Coach, it's not easy. It's because I guess we run into this with the Olympics because the Americans have such a talented team. What do you really run? What sets do you really run, Skip, when you're so much more talented than, say, the Argentines or the Spaniards or those teams that you're going up against? And that's what Coach K is up against. His team is so much more talented than anybody they face. And when you can just do what, like you said, they get out and run, they dunk, and they shoot the three uncontested shots, they're great. But now we get you into a half-court set where now you have to think, now you have to set picks, you have to pin down, you have to run flare, do all of that. They're like, okay, well, you take it. No, you take it. Yeah, and they just pass the ball, and the next thing you know, Skip, they're trying to force up a shot with 3-4 seconds on the clock.
Okay, so the way you won your 2 cases of due came down to pure vintage March Madness because the one guy on the floor who didn't really belong on the floor, he's a redshirt senior. Kenny Goins, right?
Yeah, that's my guy.
He gets the ball, and it's not even a play that was supposed to be run for him. And I think Cassius Winston was not happy with the play, but he said, well, I couldn't hold it against him because he shot it right as soon as it left his hand.
It looked good, didn't it?
It did. It had great backward rotation on it, and he got good arc on it, and it just had written all over it, March Madness. Those are the shots that win March Madness. And I love what Zion said after the Friday night game. Can't remember who was interviewing him on the floor, but said, how do you describe what just happened? And he said, well, it's right there on your mic, March Madness. He said, and that's it. That's what it is. It's March. It's pure vintage madness.
Sometimes, Skip, guys.
And by the way, Goins at that point had made 1 of 7 threes. So 2 for 8, just won them a Final Four berth.
Well, all the Michigan State players, this is on me. I told them from now until the end of time, if I see you guys out, it's on me.
I saw that video.
Oh, yeah, he followed me. Oh, yeah, he hit me up and said, hey, I'm going to have to take you up on that.
Ready.
Yeah, it's on me, Skip. Wagyu A5, that's on me. Lobster, 3-4 pounds at $50, $75 a pound, that's on me. All the ginger ale they want.
Yeah.
But you know what, Skip? Sometimes March Madness is about pressure, too. Because you saw the guy from Virginia Tech on a 2-foot shot. He shot it 1 foot. Kenny Goins, the flip side. He comes off, as you mentioned, maybe it wasn't for him. But he shot that ball like, hey, I've been waiting for this moment my whole life. This is my time. And he pulled up, and he was no hesitation. You know, sometimes guys get it. Should I? He came off that pick and let it rip. I said, ooh, this thing is pure. I said, it looked good to me.
So what was not pure to me was whatever happened to Cam Reddish, because I would like to know the truth of this, because right before the Virginia Tech game, out of the blue, out of left field, somehow he says he can't go. And Coach K said after that game, I had no idea. We'd practiced with our starting 5 all week to get ready for this. And right before tip-off, for some reason, Cam Reddish says, I can't go. And then he can't go the whole game. A very close game that Duke was fortunate to win. Really? And then it's announced right before yesterday's game that he's suited up, but he won't start, and it's kind of iffy whether he's going to play. And what happened 3 minutes into the game? He went in. And then how much did he come out of that game? How about none? He played 37 straight minutes all the way home. Can you please explain what is going on there? Because I think the gamblers would like to know what was going on with Cam Reddish. Was it some kind of off-the-court issue that he was having? Was he being disciplined by Coach K and they didn't let on to this? I have no idea.
Especially, Skip, for you to miss the entire one game because of the knee, but then you turn around and come back and play 37 minutes of the subsequent game.
After you don't start?
Yes.
Why wouldn't you start? If you're going to suck it up and play, if you're really hurt. And then he came in, and I thought he was a little slow and tentative for a while, but then after a while, I'm thinking, I don't see any knee issue going on with him.
But even that, Skip, even though we don't know the circumstances of the last 2 games, tell me that Cam Reddish has played like the third most sought after high school player coming into college. He has underperformed, if you ask me.
Okay, but he is by far the third wheel on this team.
Yes, absolutely. Yes,
In flashes, I see the most natural of all 3 basketball players.
Natural shooter of the basketball.
Just pure natural. I saw it at Florida State when he made the clutch game winner, right? And there are a couple of times yesterday where he just caught it and shot it without even thinking about it and ripped it. And is that the guy? Or I don't know. I would have a hard time if I'm trying to evaluate who is he, what is he, if I have the 5th overall pick in the draft.
Well, I thought they were going to let Zion beat him again because they couldn't keep him off the offensive glass. But Tillman was able to match him basically board for board. And he played unbelievable. That was a foul, too, on that dunk. They didn't call it.
Which dunk?
The one he caught him slipping, and he dunked on I think it might have been Goldwire. No, not Goldwire. Bolden.
Okay.
He might have been him that he caught.
So you're still begging for calls after you won?
Because I know I want you to call it fair and square.
Oh, okay.
Skip, y'all got all that talent. You got the greatest basketball players. Now, all I know, this is what I do know. A top 20 NBA player on that Duke roster gets that team to the Final Four.
Well, unless he gets coached right out of the game. And now I can say about Zion what I used to say about Michael Jordan when he was at Carolina. Only one man can stop Michael Jordan, and that's Dean Smith, his own coach. Only one man can stop Zion, and it is his own coach, Coach K, as in strikeout. He struck out because his offense struck out.
You have the luxury of knowing.
That was embarrassing.
Skip, stop. You have the luxury of knowing what Michael Jordan became. Nobody thought was going to do that at Carolina. Yes, he hit the shot as a true freshman, heard around the world in '82.
He did.
But nobody thought he was going to be that Skip.
Then he stayed for 2 more years, and nobody was really talking about him like they're talking about this kid. And I'm not saying this kid is
Michael Jordan. Skip, he showed flashes. He steal the ball and walk through the air, and when he could, lean into the side, he could do all that. But nobody thought he would turn into the overall player that he became once he got to the NBA. But the difference is, in college, they can zone you off. In the NBA, it's more space, it's more open, so he had an opportunity to fly.
It is easier to pack it in college.
And that's what Michigan State did to a degree. I would have walled it off even more against Zion. He still got up 19 shots, but let that sink in, Skip. He got up 19 shots. Probably 15 of them was in the paint.
Okay. So glance at your stats and show me all the shooting stats. Who's ahead in all the shooting stats? What's it look like to you?
You guys might have did a little something.
I think we did a little something in all the shooting categories. There's only one stat you're going to find on there that told the tale, and it's called turnovers, and it was 21-7, right?
Yep.
21-7, is that what it was?
Or 17.
No,
17-7.
17-7.
Yeah.
17-7.
There's a big difference.
Really?
Yeah, we take care of the ball.
Okay.
Yeah, Michigan
you
State.
do. And by the way, your point guard had 1 turnover, and he had a hellacious on-ball defender on him the whole game, and he managed to have 1 turnover.
And put a 20-10 spot on him.
He's good. He is sneaky, shifty in the lane.
Yeah.
Get in the lane.
That's what we do, Skip.
Yeah.
Y'all got all that talent. Y'all got Zion.
I'm not a y'all. I went to Vanderbilt. I went to the Harvard of the South. It's a better school than Duke is. But yesterday, Duke had the better basketball
Duke still
team.
got their coach.
Yeah.
Where's your coach?
He's about to be hired. Well, maybe it'll be a she.
Come
you
on,
never know.
Shannon.
How about
Just
a she?
enjoy your do while you can.
Skip, I'm sorry. I really am sorry. You actually think I like gloating. You actually think I like being a floor winner.
Yeah, okay.
That's not me.
Enough gloating for right now.
My grandma didn't raise me to be like this.
I don't think you can.